Are we losing workers? Or are we losing experience and knowledge? Before we get into that, welcome back to another episode of Downtime, presented by Conequip Parts, where if you have downtime, you might as well spend it with us. And if you have heavy equipment and need heavy equipment parts, you might as well get it from Conequip Parts. I don't really know the number.
It's on the freaking wall, dude.
No, it's right here.
Got him.
Or you can go to conequip.com/shop and do some online shopping 24/7. Just punch in your SKU and we'll get you what you need. But let's get into today's topic. Everybody's heard that construction has a labor shortage. Yeah, that's true. But I think we're focusing on the wrong problem. The real problem isn't that we're short on workers. The real problem is that we're rapidly losing decades of experience. Think about it. Every company has that operator. They might also go by that dude or the goat. You know, the guy who can hear a machine and tell you what's wrong before the diagnostic system can. Sorry, I have braces and things don't work sometimes. The excavator operator who can trench grade by eye. The foreman who's got 6 fingers left and still outperforms you and your mom. Well, a lot of those guys are retiring, and they're retiring fast. Industry studies estimate that roughly 20% of equipment operators could retire within the next 5 years. Yeah. And broader workforce projections suggest that 40% of construction workers could leave the workforce by the early 2030s. That's not just people leaving. That's knowledge leaving. That's thousands of years of combined experience walking out the gate and taking their lunchbox home for the last time. Whatever happened to those cool lunchboxes that had like Wolverine and Spider-Man on them? I'm sick of these fabric ones. I have one from Target and it's like fabric. It's called Goodwill.
They suck.
We used to be a proper country anyway, man. And before somebody jumps into the comments and says, well,
just hire some more young people.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. For years, schools pushed college as the default path. If you want to be successful, then you need to start by being in debt.
Go to college or you're a loser. You hear me? You are nothing.
But shop classes disappeared. Vocational programs shrank, and a lot of young people never got exposed to construction as a legitimate career option. So now we have a situation where the industry isn't just trying to replace workers, it's trying to replace experience. And that's a lot harder, because you can't just download 30 years of operating knowledge into somebody's brain, which would be awesome. I don't know what the future holds. If that existed, every new operator would be walking around with a software update.
Congratulations, you have successfully installed Operator 12.7.
Unfortunately, that's not how it works. But what a productive world that would be. Historically, becoming a great operator took years. You started small, you go to a roller, to a skid steer, to a loader, to maybe even an excavator if you got lucky. You learned from experienced people. You made mistakes. You got better. And then one day, somebody handed you the keys to a bigger machine and prayed you didn't immediately create a concrete crop circle that might put the company out of business, which I'm sure that probably happened too. But the industry doesn't have the luxury of waiting 10 years anymore, which is why we're seeing one of the biggest shifts construction has ever experienced in decades. The industry is basically trying to create 10-year operators in 3 years. Not literally, because that's quite literally impossible, unless you're a majestic time wizard, I suppose. Dr. Strange, shout out. But that's the goal. Companies are dramatically trying to shorten the learning curve. One of the biggest ways they're doing this is through technology. Machine control, grade control, operator assist systems, GPS guidance, basically features that help newer operators perform at a much higher level much earlier in their careers. The idea isn't to replace skilled operators. The idea is to help newer operators get productive faster. If technology can help a 2-year operator perform like a 5-year operator, that's a huge win. Another thing that's exploding right now is simulator training. We've covered this topic before, so I already know that old school operators are going to be freaking pissed.
Back in my day, we didn't need no fancy simulators like that right there.
Yeah, and gas was $1, houses were $20, and velociraptors were still only endangered. Things change. Modern simulators allow operators to practice scenarios over and over without burning fuel, risking equipment damage, or most importantly, putting people in danger. It's not a replacement for real seat time, but it's becoming a very powerful tool for getting people ready before they ever touch an actual machine. We're also seeing apprenticeships make a major comeback, which is pretty refreshing. And honestly, that's one of the most smartest things happening in the industry. More companies are promoting an earn while you earn while you learn programs. Instead of paying for 4 years of college and hoping there's a job waiting at the end, people can get paid while learning a trade that's in demand right now and will remain in demand for the foreseeable future. Companies are also recruiting earlier than ever. They're showing up at high schools, partnering with trade schools, attending career fairs, trying to get in front of students before somebody else convinces them construction isn't a good career and college is the only path. Because the reality is, the industry can no longer afford to sit back and hope workers show up. It has to actively build the next generation. This isn't really a labor shortage story, it's a knowledge transfer story. Construction may be going through the biggest transfer of knowledge in its history. A generation of operators who built roads, pipelines, subdivisions, mines, and job sites across the country is preparing to hand the controls to the next generation. The question isn't whether young operators can learn. They absolutely can. I don't know where this "you're lazy and dumb" slander came from when you're talking about younger generations. They want to work, people. The question is whether the industry can transfer decades of experience before the experience retires. And if technology, training, apprenticeships, and mentorship can help create 10-year operators in 3 years, the future of construction might be looking very different than its past, hopefully with fewer mistakes. I hope. However, no amount of technology is going to stop somebody from accidentally digging up a utility line they swore definitely was not there. Call 811, people. That's going to do it for today's episode. Be sure to tune in next week to enjoy your downtime with Downtime.
Let me tell them, downtime, it's about time. Big bad problem, trying to strip it down line. Downtime, turning all the cash to dirt. Downtime, getting us back to work.